In my experience conducting multiple trainings, I often get overwhelmed by the number of small details that can really trip up your training and things that you don't often consider. And so I've put together this checklist of 6 key things that I've learned that I like to tick off when I am conducting a training. And these are often considered very small things or non-priorities, but they have added so much value and saved me a few times. So I want to share that quickly with you. The first thing is obviously to check that the room has been booked. I have conducted trainings when I arrive and find that the room has actually been double booked, and so my participants actually need to be somewhere else. This has really negatively impacted trainings in the past, and I find just to confirm that I have that specific room in advance really helps me. I also arrive early to make sure that anything that could be unforeseen is taken care of before the participants arrive. I want the participants to feel a smooth, relaxed experience and be ready to learn rather than trying to figure out where the room is and all those sort of things. In addition to that, I highly recommend that you check your audio and visual equipment in advance. The number of times that I have tried to show a video or play some sort of sound clip and the technology has let me down at the last minute has happened quite a few times, even if I've checked the audio and visual equipment in advance. So I highly recommend you go in there and just make sure that things work, and that can really add a lot of value to your training. In addition to that, make sure that you check the room temperature. In places that are incredibly hot, I'm thinking about Texas in the summer, for example, or Canada in the winter, making sure that your participants feel comfortable, that the temperature actually is comfortable enough for them to listen and engage with you. Make sure that the seating arrangements are up to scratch. Sometimes you can walk into a room that's been used for another purpose, or that has been cleaned up and perhaps the chairs are on one side of the room and you would like your participants to be seated in a specific way. So make sure that that's set up in advance, and make sure that you lay out your classroom supplies. It can take up to 7 to 11 minutes to hand out supplies during a session. And so if you have an hour session, that leaves you with 49 minutes of engaging content rather than you lose that 11-minute value, right? So lay those things out in advance, give people direction, and that can save you some really valuable time. This training day checklist is, obviously there are multiple things I could have put on here. These are the 6 lessons that I've learned that I hope can help you give your participants the best learning experience possible.